Yes, Dana Abercrombie, the coalition. Thank you so much for speaking with me. I loved every episode and every moment and all of you guys so
Oh
much.
no!
Thank you.
Thank
All
you
you
so
people.
much.
What I want to know is, what can you explain the evolution of your creative process, especially how it goes to New York City? By being in New York City, has that changed how you look at your art?
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
New York, I feel like, is the kind of place that sort of like, it's a hard, tough town. And so it really like makes it or breaks, like makes you or breaks you.
Yeah.
And I feel like through the first couple of years that you're here, it sort of is that feeling of like all these like different pressures, but you know, it's you, how do you make a diamond? Like,
Just like, I think, I feel like New York taught me like the universal language, because I feel like it's like it's a cultural melting pot. You meet so many different people from different walks of lives, and it sort of like expanded my perspective on everything, like, morally or wherever it is. Like, I just feel like a more well-rounded person just by living in New York. So yeah, that definitely affected my process.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with just the people you keep around you as well.
Totally.
Because New York City, like Taofeek just said, it's such a melting pot that like you can have people, friends around you that do different things, that paint, sing, tap dance, and suddenly it's bleeding into your art, or you're learning how to do those things. So yeah, really, it's the evolution comes with just growth. I think we've all been in New York for a couple years now, and we definitely did not start how we are right now. A lot of beautiful growth, and yeah, it all just leads to that.
yeah.
Oh, can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Dana, we can't hear you. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Hear me? No.
Oh, there we go. There we
There you
go.
go.
I think it might be your headset.
Okay. Can you talk about how the being there really affected either your creative process or with the projects you do? Was it more about showing off for them or proving it to yourself?
I think I had a lot to prove to everyone. I think I started out very clueless. I moved to New York 4 years ago, and like I think it took me like 2 years to actually figure out what I wanted to do. And after proving it to my family, and then I proved it to myself, and then now I'm here.
Yeah, I feel like it's also a constant proving to yourself that you can do it, and like a constant like what's it called, like a sort of it's like this channel between you and New York and the people around you that just like it's like validation, like
Yes.
like you bring something to the table and then someone feeds you something and you're like just growing together. I feel.
I think it's like, outside from like, trying to prove to myself, it's also like proving like it's not something I can do alone. It's something I can do with like a group of people.
Yeah,
So in a
totally.
way, just proving that, hey, like us as a collective can accomplish this or do this much. And I think that's like the most empowering and the most fulfilling part for me, personally. So yeah, like, I get my satisfaction from that.
And you do it like for your people too, the people that you identify with, and the people that identify with you, you end up, they inspire you and you want to do it for them too.
Oh, can you
Can you hear? No. You can
like, now we can.
This show is like
Dana, excuse me for a second. When you come back on from muting, give it just like 1 or 2 seconds and then start to talk, because I think it's having trouble connecting.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. This show is a wonderful platform for your career and for people to get to know you. But I was wondering, is there something the camera either didn't capture that you want the audience to know about you now?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Wow. Those cameras were around, honey. They were
But
around.
they were around, but at the same time, we're 6 individuals and with 6 different storylines that are intermingling in these different ways that we didn't know before how they would mix. And so there's a lot that happens. I feel like because the show is like the episodes are short and we have only 8 episodes, they need to like put in as much as they can, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see, a lot of preparation for the shots, you know? And so the hard work that we put in behind the scenes when the cameras aren't on, like that's to be commended too. And I know that each of us have our own different ways of working behind the camera. You know?
And I feel like also getting to know like, all the, cast like along the way, I'm like, they can make an entire show dedicated to
Each of us could have our own spin-off.
So, So yeah, there's a lot.
There's a
you know,
lot
there's a
that
lot.
happened, yeah.
Oh, Dana, you have to start again.
Again?
Just
What-
restart your question. No worries, it's all good.
Sorry. With that in mind, if you could have your own spinoff, what would be the title of your own show?
Oh,
The Fernando Show.
the Fernando.
Obviously.
Damn. Hmm.
I just had that name since I was in like my freshman year of college, and I
Yeah.
mean, the Fernando Show will happen one day.
It's a title I've been obsessed with, and it had nothing to do with my name or anything. I just love it because Moonlight is one of my favorite films like ever. If I were to have a show, it would be called In the Moonlight We Turn Blue. That would be it.
In the Moonlight We Turn Blue. It's a beautiful name for a film.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
My spinoff would probably have to be called,
It Girl.
yeah, probably like something with like Ebon and the girls, or like It Girl, something so simple, because I already know the show is just gonna be so damn dramatic. So
Extra.
very extra. Ebon X-rated.
Extra.
That
rated.
works. So being filmed during the pandemic, can you talk about how that affected you, not only just in your art, but as you as a person and your creative not even just process, but existence?
Ooh, I mean, to be honest, I think filming like during the pandemic, minus like the safety precautions that we obviously took with COVID tests and things of that sort, I think, I mean, much wasn't changed for myself. You know, I showed up to work, took COVID tests. I think if anything, a lot, because if you've seen the first 4 episodes, you know, like my titles, usually I throw a lot of sick parties, and you know, with COVID being around, we definitely had to stop that. It definitely halted the money train. I had to stop seeing friends for a little bit. The planning process was just all messed up, but you know, we bounced back.
You know, thankfully the show was created because it was created as like a post-pandemic youth, like that's what influenced the show, is this culture after this like global shift that we've all gone through together. And so the most important part was like finding new ways to create, and like that's what inspired the show. And so for the show to be done within this time, it's like the medium becomes the message, you know.
Wait.
Get out of
Dana, I'm sorry, we're just having a connection problem. Just restart the question, please. Thank you.
What did you get out of this series while filming?
What did I'll say the biggest thing I got out of this while filming, I'll say the biggest is actually like meeting the rest of the cast. Like that's like, you know,
I agree.
yeah,
Making
that's-
friends, like
yeah,
actual friends.
yeah, that's like my biggest takeaway from this. Like, you know, they could go, hey, the show is no longer like streaming, and I'm still like more than satisfied,
Yeah.
you know, with like,
Yeah.
you know, the outcome.
The experience.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us are starting to like work with each other as well. Sophia, she's a photographer on the show, and I know she goes crazy behind the camera, and we've been lucky enough to be in front of the camera. So
Mhm.
that's a good thing. I know like Taofeek through a show, and you'll see Taofeek through a fashion show, amazing, and you'll see Fernando in the crowd cheering him on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we are friends, and then also just finding like, you know, ways to include each other in our art is really cool too.
Dana, just restate that. Just say your goodbye again. We couldn't hear you.
Saying thank you so much for speaking with me.
Of course.
Thank you for
Of course,
everything.
have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.